everybody, Ms Beach here. Today we're going to be drawing another one of our house trees. Last week we drew house oak, which embodies strength. And today, some of you might be able to guess because I'm wearing purple. Purple is the color symbol for house baobab. Even if you're not a house baobab member, go ahead and pick up a pencil and draw along with me. Okay, house baobab. Their house symbol, I gotta get rid of it real low, is like this, but their arms are raised up real high. Can you see that? Yep.
Students in House Baobab embody caring. Over the years, people have actually used baobab trees to make shelters, protecting them from severe weather conditions. It's also a prehistoric tree that's grown in extremely dry conditions for over 200 million years. Students in this house will not only show perseverance in tough conditions, but also look out for others along the way. In House Baobab's crest, you will see that the center of the crest is the tree, which looks similar to their hand signal. This represents the house's ability to provide shelter and safety for others in need. On the side of the crest, the flower of the tree represents how persevering in life can produce beautiful results. The purple background represents a welcoming color for others. Atop the crest is the crown of a giraffe, representing that we are all part of the Brumfield community.
So they have giant trunks. So picture on your paper where you're going to put your trunk and make it way wider than a normal tree. Okay, so first I'm going to very lightly draw in my trunk. I think I like it. I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to trace with my finger so you can see what I did there. Sometimes their trunks aren't even as going in as much other trunks. They're more like this. So if you want to make it a little more outward, that's what makes it look like an upside down tree, because it's got almost, the top looks like roots, like you would imagine the roots down here would look. We're going to go ahead and go darker because I really like that trunk. Once you like it, you can go dark. Find the right line in all those lines. There you go. Can you see it now? Great. Now we're going to use the Y technique that we learned last time, but because a baobab tree is so different, straight out at the top, like that. Most trees kind of come up and around and make a little more of a circular shape. This is a very flat shape. We're going to use some very stumpy and tiny Ys. So I'm just lightly, because I'm going to erase these, going to draw the letter Y sticking out at the top. Just a few times. Some will go sideways, some will go straight up, some will come way out. Notice how some of the Ys are a little bit longer than others. And I can even do this, which is a nice trick. I can do a Y off of a Y. Okay? I think I need a couple more of those Ys off of Ys, just to make sure my tree looks interesting. Cool fact about House Baobab at Brumfield is they're known for this symbol because the baobab tree in Africa, they actually sometimes can make houses out of them. They hollow out the inside and you can live in them. That kind of shows that they care for other people. Now, I'm going to make these branches kind of a little thicker because they're just stick branches right now. And we can do better than that. So what I'm going to do is draw almost an electric fence around my letter Y, but don't zap your Y. Okay? So you get really, really close so that Y won't run away, but don't zap it. And I'm just lightly going around all of my letters. Now when I get to a spot right here where they touch, I just keep going really close to my letter Y, but don't let it touch. This is kind of a technique that can be used for a lot of things, especially if you're drawing a bubble letter, and all of a sudden your branches are going to start to form. Really smooth around your Y. Now when I get down to this weird area, I got to hop from that Y to that Y. I'll just turn it around, turn this bus around and get going. There we go. Keep going. Back down to your trunk of your tree. So I'm going to go ahead and erase some of my Ys where I'm happy, just to see it look more like a branch and less like the letter Y repeated over and over again. All right, I think I need a Y here. So you know what? I'm just going to draw one sticking out, and then I'm going to go back on my electric fence and trace around it. So now when I go to erase, just like this, la 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 la. I'm not your music teacher, but I still love to sing. It's okay to be a little silly when you make art, because, you know, it's just you and me here. It's okay. So it was right there, and I came in, and wherever the branches attach, I erased it. Now this is a weird looking tree. I know, it is a weird tree. Baobab's weird, but that's why it's so cool, because artists love weird things. So, oh, I forgot my Y's over here. I got to talking and singing. Why didn't you tell me? You were trying to tell me. I just can't hear you through the phone. I really missed you guys. You know that? And for those of you who aren't at Brumfield but are drawing along, I'm so excited to be able to share this with you, because houses are really special to us at Brumfield. Now I need to do my groups of leaves. So right over this edge of the Y's, I'm going to draw those lumpy bunches of leaves. If it is easier for you, this is what we did with the oak tree on some spots. You can go in and just do some ovals where you think the trees would have some leaves, and sometimes it overlaps on top of your other branches. So now that I've got my ovals, I'll go back in and I'll just take my pencil and just wiggle it a little. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Okay. Now I'll go back in, and where my tufts of leaves overlap my branches, I'll just erase some. So this one's kind of confusing because this branch hides behind that. So I'll see the branch when it pops out the top, and I'll see it when it goes underneath. But that's a nice overlapping skill. I'll just redraw that where I accidentally erased some to show that it has some depth. Or if I put the pencil in front, you see the whole pencil. Behind, you only see the bottom of the pencil and the top. Ooh, look, I'm magic. It's floating there. Ooh. Okay, sorry, back on track. Magic tricks. Yeah, I was just holding it with my thumb. You're right. Now, I'm just going to go down and erase some of those overlapping spots. Overlapping is an awesome trick that artists use, and I really recommend you start to observe the things around you and how they overlap, and you'll go, oh, I totally get what Ms. Beach was talking about now. Now, because these little electric fence branches that I made have kind of a lumpy end that aren't really like branches, I'm going to make sure that I go back and make it look more realistic. So if I have one sticking out like right here, a branch isn't all nubby like that. No, a branch kind of goes up and sticks out some. So I'll just kind of tuck them in there, tuck them good night, behind some branches. And then I'll erase that little nubby part that doesn't make any sense. And all of a sudden it's starting to come to life. Remember, the baobab tree is very different than any other tree we have in Virginia. And it can grow in really dry and desperate areas, which kind of reminds me of how some of us are feeling right now. Like dry and desperate and don't know what to do with no school. I know I'm feeling that way. I miss you guys something awful. Oh, do you hear my cat? Must be the top of the hour. Oh, these trees can grow where it's really dry, which is part of the reason they have this big trunk. It holds in a lot of water. So if you're in House Baobab, you're often known for being really caring for other people, even in really desperate times. You look out for others. So your Latin word is salus. Salus means safety in Latin. So when people think about you, they think about you keeping others safe and making sure you care about them. We're going to go ahead and draw the flower because it's just so beautiful. It hangs on this long vine. Almost looks like a swing. Then you've got a circle here for your first petal. Beside it is the letter C. And then another petal in reverse over here. That's a backwards letter C. And I just keep doing that a few times until I get kind of a flower looking form. But these flowers are a little upside down. So now I'm going to draw the piston part, which is P-I-S-T-O-N, piston, if you're doing a little science lesson, which is a rectangle and then a very light circle that goes halfway through my rectangle. I'm going to find the center of my circle and put a dot. Now I'm just going to start putting dots around the center of my circle. These are all the stamens, S-T-A-M-E-N, I think. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not very great at spelling, but I'm good at drawing. All of us have our talents. And then I'll do little lines like a sunshine. Then I'll do a little bit bigger lines coming in between each spot. And that kind of shows that perspective that is getting larger. And I'll just keep doing it. And each time I go around my circle, it gets a little bit longer. And then all of a sudden you have a baobab tree flower. And these actually are really great nuts that you can eat before they flower, which is pretty cool. Again, the tree showing caring. So I'm just filling in now with circles and lines, and as I get closer to the center, my circles and lines are smaller. As I get further away, they're longer. I highly recommend that you draw in pencil first, but then when you're ready and you really love what you drew, you can get your Sharpie. This time I picked a purple one, since purple is Baobab's house color. And I'm just gonna go over it so you can see. So start with my trunk, right? Then I did those Ys. I'm not gonna draw the Ys with my Sharpie. Instead, I'm gonna draw those electric fences. And remember, wherever it's kind of nubby, tuck it underneath a leaf patch, right? And you can even extend it some if you're like, ooh, it would look better if I straighten this a little bit or had this hiding over here. So it's a little different than what you first drew. Artists are constantly tweaking and changing things to make them better. And if you accidentally forgot to erase a line, you can go back in later and erase it. It is no biggie. Remember, it's just a piece of paper. Do not let it defeat you. You might get frustrated. You might want to give up, but it's just a piece of paper. Keep trying. Okay, going over my little leaf squiggles, making sure that I show that they overlap on top of the branches. Remember, I see part of the branch here, the leaves here, then the top of the branch if it sticks out. Try it with your pencil and see what I'm talking about. Overlapping is pretty powerful for making it look realistic. Now, if you didn't do any of the other videos, but you're doing this one, that's great, but I do suggest you might want to go back and look at the one for the oak tree, because I do some similar techniques with an oak tree that I'm doing with a baobab tree. Okay, there we go. Looking good. Oh, forgot the trunk. I just do a squiggly line down here just to end it out. And then I got my flower hanging down. I might make these petals a little more wonky and not such a perfect circle, because nature's not always perfect. It's got some issues, right? And then I'll go back in and just put in my dots and my sticks. This takes a while because there's so many dots. Just keep going. Now I've noticed a lot of my adult friends have started to do these too. I'm so proud of you guys, because you know what you're learning? Anybody can draw. As long as you got a pencil and a paper, you can draw. You might be frustrated at first. You might be watching your kid or other kids who are posting going, oh my goodness, look at that kid. Well, guess what? That kid probably practices a lot. And like I've said before, art is a skill. The more you practice it, the better you get at it. Some of us have a good sense of observation, so we're able to simply break things down into lines and circles and rectangles and triangles, which is what I'm trying to explain to you in these videos, so that you could look at anything. You don't just have to copy my drawing. You could look at anything and be able to draw it. Just gonna add a little bark in here. What do you think? Check out your tree. All right, look forward to seeing yours. Post them online. Goodbye, my friends. I'll see you next time.